That's not what I wanted. It's
The Star.
Yeah, y'all already know. Seven the pan. That dude Biz on the beat. Yeah. We live in entertainment. Sound change. Crown the kings, homie. This is where it get ill. About to have the tempo of live as a tip drill. From the court to the diamond, to the track, to the big skin flying round the field. Starting five forever, keeping it real. If it matters in the world of sports, blue jeans and long sleeves, they taking no shorts. Hot to death, oh yes, these are the sports podcasts live as a pro's corpse. Biz market wave, the starting five goes off. No matter who you cheer for, emotions out the window, they analyzing with clear thoughts. They take it way deeper than the boys ever. No longer got any use for the four letters. The latest news, score stats and the view from the sideline. Ain't no guideline, it's just the truth. Yeah, no need to dig for a pardon line. It's always in season if people starting five. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. If the sports news you see, we don't waste time. We talking cause we live it. We got what you need. We going in on three, run the baseline, starting five. Get it, we got what you need. And y'all know me, seven sign, I'm the illest cat spit. I got what you need.
each and every week, as always, we got what y'all need. This is your boy, the mayor. That DJ named Ace 5, your mom's favorite fat guy, all the way from deepest, darkest Africa. Today, getting paid to podcast, and we are back with the newest episode of the Start 5. As always, make sure you hit that QR code right next to my big ass head. You know, maybe something in that QR code to get you as fancy as TJ with the wine over there. What's up, good brother?
What's up? That's straight IPA, Hackensack finest brew right there, sir.
Shouts out to Hackensack Brewing Company as always, even though that looked like some Mugen Dean 2020, aka Mad Dog 2020. That's shouts out to the homie Mike Jones, always brewing up some dope shit, yo.
Yeah, I will never be touching the Mad Dog 2020 ever again in my life, unless you strap me to a chair and forced it down my throat. But I will not be touching the Mad Dog
That shit already done
anymore. But besides that, everything is good. Everything's good. It's a little breezy out here today, but I'm enjoying it. The weather's about to break soon, so I'm gonna love just being outside all the time and just getting ready for this party and making life happen. So nothing but good news. I see my man still in witness protection below me. What's up, Bo?
Yeah, kind of, sorta. I mean, I got the pink hoodie on. Y'all can see the pink hoodie, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks orange though.
Yeah, it says snitch across the front, right?
I don't know what this guy talking about.
You see, right back into witness protection mode. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm about to turn the light out, man. Dim this room back. It's your boy. It's the boy Big O in the building. I got some good picks, coming in, man. I'm confident. I'm confident my pick's gonna make the Final Four once again, just like last week. At least three. No, I ain't gonna go through with three. At least two out of the four is gonna make the Final Four. I'm convinced.
Wow, that's bold.
Well, I know I got one that I'm biasedly voting for throughout the whole tournament. I'm telling you that.
I got one too. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the same team.
There's one, and it's literally one of the greatest football teams ever constructed, Jamal.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up. What's up? What's up, everybody? A pleasure to chop it up with y'all on a Sunday evening. Been a great day. Just coming off a ginormous meal with the family. We don't get to do that often. So
Nice.
fighting the itis a little bit, but it's all good.
Cool.
I mean, a little bit of water in here, but it's all good. Try and thin out my
Is that a turntable behind you?
That is, dog.
What kind of turntable is that? Because I see the platter. I see the silver. I thought it was a
This
tone
one
on.
it's a 1x1. So I was gonna get an Audio Technica, man, but that was just too rich for my blood at that time.
Okay.
But this is solid. There's no bounce to it. It's got a good counterweight on it. It's solid.
It's belt driven or direct?
Direct.
Okay. So you can get to some scratching if you wanted to.
Get the
I got a whole crate of records from moms that ain't seen the light of day since '74, so I'm trying to see what's good.
I see that Bob Marley in the back.
Oh, dope.
That's a vintage.
I see that.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to chopping up this list, though.
Yeah, and this one has been this one, full transparency. It took us today to finalize. Like, it wasn't like the other ones where I was able to promote it all week. Like this one, we literally wrapped up and wrangled up today because, to be honest with you, this came a little easier than the other stuff that we've kind of covered so far. This came a lot easier, actually, because even when I created the wrestling promos one, like TJ said, yo, no Roddy Piper on there. Yeah, there wasn't. And to be honest, I mean, so with Roddy Piper, what does the average fan honestly remember outside of the coconut incident, which it was his talk show? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The cartoon one made it difficult because we had to leave off tons of shit, and we could have just did the whole month of cartoons by decade. You know what I'm saying? So, and it was hella difficult, but so far it's been a lot of fun bringing on guests and all that to be a part of the joint. Shouts out to Tyrone the Lisper. Shouts out to Dawn, who people were clapping at Dawn the whole time because it was like she was like, "Damn, I haven't seen that one. Damn, I haven't seen that one." but she's familiar with wrestling, and people were saying other people were saying, "Oh, I didn't see that one." When I gave motherfuckers the list of homework, like I gave the list ahead of time. That cartoon one last week, though, like some blood could have been drawn. We could have had some fights or a bunch of shit.
Like I said, light furniture moving, just light furniture moving. Because Lisper was getting out of it with the Voltron, with the Voltron slander me, and I really didn't appreciate that.
Was a little bit of Voltron slander going on for real. But
yeah, there was.
My pick won, although it was a safe pick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the safe picks definitely won. Ain't no wrong with that. But today, I don't know if there's a safe pick in this one, because when you talk baseball, there's a saying in baseball when you got like that killer lineup that you gotta face. We called it Murderer's Row, right, TJ? Right? We call it.
Yeah.
You gotta face Murderer's Row, and this week with the tournament is a Murderer's Row of teams that are listed.
These matchups are nasty, bro.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Go head to head.
Yeah.
These matchups is nasty, bro.
And now for those watching, and again, y'all comments count, people. Transformers step brother. I said it. Shout out to the brother. Remember, everybody in the comments, your votes count. But number one, do not look at the seeding of these brackets as this is how they were seeded. I had to take the tournament to challenge to randomize this because this one is a bunch of killers. Start from the top. We got the 96-97 Bulls. I believe that is the 72-10 Bulls going against the 1972 UCLA basketball team, which the lineup on that team is absurd. The 86
that's Bill Walton's team, right?
That's Bill Walton, I think Abdul-Jabbar, a whole host of others on that one. The 86-87 Lakers versus the 1986 the Miracle Mets. This one's an interesting one. The 1999, the 1999
That's brutal.
women's soccer team versus the 100-plus win 1998 Yankees. The 73-9 Warriors versus the 92 Dream Team. Now, the Warriors are the lone team on this that did not win some type of medal and or championship. I will declare they made this because they broke a record that, of course, Jock Ride and Bulls fans thought would never be broken. It's just unfortunately, as people say, it ain't a thing if you ain't got that ring. And the behind of the story to follow that, when they played the Cleveland Cavaliers and they was having their celebrations and their costume parties and shit, and they made the cake with the tombstone. Oh my, they like the roasting that they got, but they beat a record that many have thought probably couldn't get touched. Versus the 92 Dream Team, which they were called the Dream Team for a reason. The real Dream Team, my bias that I think is going all the way, the 2001 Hurricanes. The brief that I could say about them, I believe it was 35 or 37 players from that team was drafted in that next season's NFL draft. Insanity, never been done again. You know, teams like Clemson and Georgia had like 10 to 15 players at a time. Miami had about 10 to 15.
I think the 08 Gators might have been close.
No, actually, because I looked it up. The team that USC sent to the Rose Bowl, which people say that was probably the greatest college football game ever played, when they played Vince Young and
Oh yeah, that game was amazing.
That team was the closest to the 01 Hurricanes.
Let's chop it up when we get to that bracket.
Yeah.
But when you have almost 15 players in the first round alone, versus this is Jamal's pick, the 2012 Jamaicans 4x100 team. We know who the anchor was on that one. Beasts. This one right here, I'm sad that it randomized this way. But the 1998 Tennessee women's basketball team, led by the great Pat Summitt, versus what many a list said was the best women's college basketball team ever, the 2016 UConn women's team. Yeah, TJ, and I know you picked 04. A couple other people.
I picked 04. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I picked 04. This team ranked higher than the 04 team. And I'm a Lady Husky fan, and you know I'll take some of them Rebecca Lobo, Nikisha Sales, any team with Maya Moore on it. But this team though was just absurd. And we got the 1990 Jerry Tarkanian, aka Talk the Shark. You can never forget that man chewing his towel on the sidelines. UNLV basketball team versus the Miracle on Ice 1980 USA hockey team. And then the Mercury Morris, I pop my bottle of champagne every year that a team gets their first loss and that every team in the NFL gets a loss. 72 Dolphins versus The 85 Bears, the Super Bowl Shuffle Bears.
The team was heavy with the drip juice, bro.
Ridiculous.
Can we also mention? Can we also throw in the honorable mentions that didn't make the cut?
If you want to, if you see reason to, go right ahead.
Yeah. Because my team, 82 Tar Heels didn't make the cut. 3 future Hall of Famers on that team. Well, 2 future Hall of Famers, and I think 2 other All-Stars. Sam Perkins, Brad Daugherty being the other 2 All-Stars. I'm not sure if Sam Perkins made the All-Star team. I know Brad Daugherty did a couple times. And then you had, of course, James Worthy, who was the man on that team, right, with a freshman Michael Jordan on that team. They unfortunately made the cut. Also the Five Slammer Jammer teams with Clyde Drexler and Akeem Olajuwon. Mm-hmm. They didn't make the cut. There was another one. There was another one too. I forgot. As I'm saying this, as I'm talking about all the mentions.
I had 3 that didn't make the cut, and my first one was the 84 Soviet Union hockey team. Okay. I even put them over the 1980 USA hockey team. The 1970 Brazil World Cup team, which is probably the greatest team that's ever graced the field. Mm. And then I had the 84 U.S. Olympic boxing team that had Holyfield, Mark Breland, Pernell Whitaker.
Studs. Yeah. Hall of Famous. Yeah. I'm sorry. I have one more. Jamal, you done? You done? I'm sorry. Jamal, you done?
I'm done. I'm done. Yeah.
What's crazy though? I didn't think about looking at the boxing team as a team. To be honest with you, but they are. So.
Yes, I do have one more. They never get enough credit. And they pretty much changed basketball before Allen Iverson. Fab Five, Michigan, 92.
They didn't win.
They didn't win, though.
They didn't win.
Yeah.
All those Duke teams that I needed.
If this is
those 2. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If this was a top, Sweet 16s of influencer tournament, then they would be a 2 seed, because they brought hip hop culture into basketball. They brought they brought we can't be wearing these poom poom shorts on the court. And and as Jalen Rose said it in their 30 for 30, they went to all the big men and was just like, let me get them shorts. But changed, literally, you could say changed fashion forever. Mm-hmm. Though nowadays these kids is trying to go back to shorter, trying to go back to meat almost hanging out the pants and joint, But thank you. You, as I said in the group chat, you capped off your all meat Sunday list. No fish, all meat.
Hey man, listen,
TJ, if you're not frozen, TJ, did you have some honorable mentions that you wanted to say before we kick this off? Which I think you froze, TJ. This is what sucks about not being at home. Where
I did. I'm back.
Okay, my connection was perfect last week because I had to upgrade. But what were some honorable mentions that you want to say? Everybody kind of gave 3. I don't have any. I don't have any.
I really didn't have any because it was a struggle for me to. So this is my thing. It's hard to be a great team in any era, in any sport, and maintain that type of dominance. So once I got the major ones out the way, I was struggling to find, you said 16, but I don't think I came up with 13 or 14, and I was like, where do I go from here? I could have said the soccer one or like some more hockey shit, but I wasn't a fan like that, so I wasn't gonna put it on because I'm not as familiar with it. But I do respect them what they did as a team. But I was just like, damn, like I was thinking about it earlier today. I was like, yo, to be a dominant team and to be on this list, you set the bar so high for other people to come behind you. It's some of these records will probably never be broken again, or some of these things will never be done again at that
Yeah.
time. At this time, because the games have changed. The games have changed. The players are different now. The era is different. It's going to be hard to break some of these records or be as dominant as some of these teams were back in the day.
Yeah, like that 72 Dolphins team, like again, as I mentioned when introducing them, Mercury Morris till this day, and the longest so far, the longest he had to wait to pop that bottle of champagne was the Super Bowl that the Patriots lost to y'all Giants.
That's right.
Because it was close.
Yes, sir.
It was so it was so close. But because it was so close, that's why they didn't make this list. And I had to swap them out for that Running Rebels team because that Running Rebels team won the national championship and was a
Yes,
force.
they did.
They haven't been the same since, but they were like one of the unstoppable forces. Greg Anthony, freaking Larry Johnson made his name in that year. Like he was a
Stacey
He
beast.
was a
as is.
grown man playing against boys.
Yeah.
He was a grown man playing against boys. He was feared. That
No,
team
it
was
was yeah,
feared when he came on the court. They were straight bullies.
he was little giants out there. I am 14. It was little giants out there.
And when we're talking influence too, like yo, like they were of the era that like got people that sparked along with the Raiders that sparked people into buying starter jackets.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
My brother had the UNLV Running Rebels jacket when I had my Philadelphia Eagles jacket, you know what I'm saying? But they were that team of that era that had them. And you know, just that running rebel fever, Jerry
I'm
Tarkanian,
gonna be. I'm,
again, the
Yo,
towel.
they opened the door. I mean, no one's ever examined their influence on the Fab Five.
I was about to say
Right.
that. I was gonna say that there would be no There would be no Fab Fives without the Running Rebels.
Yeah.
You know, but okay. Now my question is, I just realized another one of my teams got knocked off that didn't make the cut. The Rangers. What was it? The '98 Rangers.
Oh yeah,
With Messier bringing the cup to the Garden.
yeah, man. That was a good
Like past 25 years, one of the most iconic things that ever happened in the Garden.
1994 that was, but here's the
I would say
thing.
94.
We're New Yorkers, so that's a little bit of New York bias into that. And
Mhm.
that was that win, though amazing, though great, and I believe still the only Stanley Cup till this day since for the Rangers.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit like the rest of these teams do. And I'm a Rangers fan. I'm not hardcore where I follow the sport like I used to, but
Yeah.
it doesn't hit like none of these teams do.
Nah, plus you know what?
None of them.
That 84, 85, that Edmonton Oilers dynasty was just there were too many powerhouse teams in that.
With
That-
Wayne
that-
Gretzky,
those-
with Wayne's
One of those
Gretzky,
teams and Messier, one of those teams should have made the list. You know, that's
But
definitely
But you could have even went like the late '70s Islanders who won like 3 years in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like
early '80s.
the late '70s,
Mike
yeah,
Bossy
late '70s, early
and
'80s. They won like
Dennis
3, 4.
Conrad.
They won 3 or 4 Stanley Cups in a row or some shit like that. It
Yes.
was crazy.
It was
But
a good role of dynasties between the Flyers that handed off to, Islanders that handed off to the Oilers. So,
but
Yeah,
but it would have been pick one out of those
Yeah,
out of that
that's
year
tough.
Yeah.
because we
Yeah.
didn't pick this in dynasty. We said pick a year. And as y'all see, as
Yeah.
y'all, those watching, when you see 96, 97, remember NBA basketball rolls from year to year. It rolls on a fiscal year, not a calendar year. You know, the Olympic teams are obvious. They roll to what's the name. The NFL teams, we kind of define them by, I believe, generally the year they won the Super Bowl, even though it's the year before season. You know what I'm saying? So it would have been, none of these. I mean, we could say that some of these teams were from dynasties, like our Yankees, for instance. The Yankees in that era was a dynasty, you know, but we took the best.
Listen, if you want to talk dynasties, if you want to talk dynasties and like ultimate domination, you look no further than the one that's on here already. The women UConn Huskies, they owned the 90s and early 2000s. They just ran through everybody and anybody for years.
Yep, and years. Pat Summitt in that Tennessee team though, for a bulk of the mid 90s was unstoppable.
Yeah.
Yes.
Too.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were UConn's foil.
Yeah.
They were definitely UConn's foil. From the early 90s going into mid 90s. You know, and just like how now South Carolina,
you had kids
taking over that mantle.
Yeah.
Oh, Dawn Staley's freaking shit.
Dawn Staley's going to be in the NBA someday as a head coach.
I hope so.
She should be.
Yeah.
She should be.
I hope so. And what I love about Dawn Staley, besides just I've always loved her, been a fan since we even found out who she was from back in the day in college, but the position she's in now, like check out what she did post game when they played, what was it, Norfolk State, and gave it up. Like they beat them, but pulled, I think one of their bigs in the room and was just like, when they keep playing like she keeps playing, we're gonna have to watch out for them. And gave props, gave love, and when you hear the other side stories about how she gives love and gives props to other women coaches, specifically other women of color coaches across the whole spectrum of college basketball, like she's just a special individual that deserves every single rose, flower, $1 billion contract you can think of, whatever. Like she deserves everything.
I've always loved Dawn Staley.
For real. Shouts out to Philly on her. But let's get into this shit. We're going to start right off at the beginning. Let me see. Okay. 96, 97, 72 and 10 Bulls versus the 72 UCLA basketball team. We all know about the Bulls team, but let me look up this UCLA team.
Wasn't that John Wooden's team?
It was definitely John Wooden's team, but I think that's Bill Walton. Because I think Kareem left already.
Didn't they run the table for like 2 years in a row? That like they didn't get beat.
Two.
Yeah, which I'm trying to look at now because again we had to split these. Is it the 71 to 72 or the 72 to 73? Because both teams
71 to 72 went undefeated.
They both went undefeated.
Damn.
So we're gonna go.
You know how hard that is in college?
We're gonna roll.
Yeah, that was. I'm sorry. That was Bill Walton and Jamal Wilkes.
We're gonna roll with the 72-73 UCLA Bruins. Bill Walton, Jamal Wilkes, Larry Farmer, Larry Holyfield, Tommy Curtis, Dave Myers, Greg Lee, Swen Nader, Pete Trogovich, I think, Vince Carson, Gary Franklin, Bob Webb, Casey Corliss, Ralph Drooling, or the 71-72 team.
And that's where Henry Bibby at the point.
Yep, Bill Walton, Henry Bibby, Jamal Wilkes, Larry Farmer, Greg Lee. This, I mean, absolute legends. Yeah. Out of let me see, because it gives it up. Out of the seven, so we'll go 72-73 team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 NBA drafted players out of this team.
Which is crazy for a single college basketball team. That's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. That means you got somebody off the bench too. Plus the starting five. You got elevated down to the 6 man. That's nuts.
And looking at this again, from the if we're looking at it, if I'm looking at it at the top 5 as the starters, two were I don't know what this starting lineup looked like, but if this was the starting lineup the way it's listed, 2 out of the starting 5 were drafted and the others were bench players. If this was the lineup, but I'm sure the lineups changed every night, so there was no true solid except for Bill Walton. We all know about Bill Walton's greatness, but they're going against Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. This was the first year with Dennis Rodman, correct?
I believe so. Yeah.
And we all know that team. Absolutely absurd and insane. Hated every minute of it being a Knicks fan. But GJ,
I think we beat them. We contributed to one of their 9 losses as a Knicks. I believe they lost to us one. That's what we could take in solace.
I'll take it. But where does your vote lie?
Ooh, this is tough, man. This is tough. You're talking about these are 2 like giant teams right here. Fortunately for me, I never saw the UCLA team play, but I've read about their greatness. I heard many stories about their greatness, but I had to, like you said, Dan, we had to witness that shit live with the Chicago Bulls just running through the league, and it was just agony. Like every night, watching SportsCenter would run their shit back like 100 times back in the day. That's when SportsCenter was on like every hour from like 10 p.m. to like 2 in the morning, and it was just. It was just beating into your head like these guys was gonna kill you every night, and they did something that hadn't been done before, and I got to roll with them. They were dominant in every shape and facet of the game. Just
I can dig that.
They weren't barely scraping by and beating. They were blowing teams out handily on a nightly basis. And if your team was trash, you were getting dunked on by like 25, 30 points. It was disgusting.
Well, call me Bulls hater because
I hate to say it, but I have to roll with the Bulls.
Call me Bulls hater because I am. The Tyrone said the Bulls. He said the Bulls because I hated them so much. I watched all their games rooting for a loss. I mean, I think we all did as far that non-Bulls fans. I'm going with undefeated because this is 72-73, the second year in a row going undefeated for the chip.
Ooh, valid point.
Yeah.
That's where
they had a target on their back.
Yes. And like I said, if it don't mean a ring, if don't mean a thing if they ain't got that ring. They both got the ring. 10 losses is more than 0. That's as simple as I can put it.
The floor is the ceiling and the ceiling is the sky.
It's hard, right? He said the sky's the limit and the ceiling is the roof. The roof is 10 losses. I'm going UCLA, Jamal.
Tough one here. Excellence in both areas. That UCLA, would UCLA run off 10 chips in 12 years? That school, but that particular team, 6 NBA drafted players. However, the Bulls, as much as I hate that squad, got to go with excellence on a high level, which was the pro game. And how dominant they were. When nobody able to see them, especially if they didn't get beaten in the Eastern Conference playoffs, that was a wrap.
Word.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Bulls. I gotta go with the Bulls.
It's 3-1 Bulls, but to refer back to what you mentioned about UCLA and championships. 64, 65, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 75, and 1995.
It's crazy.
That's just as dominant as Bill Russell owning the 60s, except for one loss, 1 year. When Wilt finally got over the hump on him.
You know,
Well,
I'll be honest with you.
Crazy, man.
I'll be honest with you. I think the bigger question is the level of the opponents that these teams had to face, right? So the Bulls, we already know the Bulls 96, 97, that was their second year of their first. That was they were just coming off a championship. So we were yet not calling them a dynasty per se. Right? So you still have the Knicks. You had the Knicks, you had Detroit, who were still giving you problems.
not at that
Had,
time.
I think Detroit was vanquished by then. It was the Knicks, Pacers, maybe.
correct. Yes, you're right.
That's about it. Yeah,
Detroit was washed by that time.
it was
Yeah,
done.
you had the Knicks,
Done.
right? You had the Knicks, you had the Pacers. You know what I'm saying? Then of course we had who you had in the West. When you think about the 72 UCLA team, my thing is, okay, you had this team, but who was in the Pac-10 besides UCLA? You know, what was their level of competition? Was it up to par with? Was it comparable to this team, this said team? You know, because you have two Hall of Famers that are in the upper room of Hall of Fame. You know, with Bill
But you
Walton
can't discount the coach.
Jamal Wilkes.
You can't. John Wooden was like a maestro, bro. Like
And then John Wooden.
he's the like the stamp of coaching. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like,
he's Mount Rushmore. He's in Mount Rushmore.
yeah.
True. But you know
Right.
what? They still had to make it through the tournament, man. So it doesn't matter what the
Yeah.
you still
Yeah.
they still had to get through the tournament, and
Right.
know,
it's
tournament
not
is a
like
great equalizer.
And
It's not like the NBA.
we're seeing firsthand that the tournament, you making it to the tournament is not saying, oh, all right, so you're fast track to Sweet 16. Fucking Furman just beat Virginia 2 days ago, and Purdue lost to Fairleigh Dickinson. You know, 1-16. So you making it to the tournament, to the big dance is not just a stamp to say, okay, you're going to make the Sweet 16 and Final Eight, Elite Eight.
Listen, North Carolina didn't even make the tournament this year, and Duke just got knocked out.
Yes, one and done.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, one and done. So
Princeton won both games, bro.
yeah, Princeton is still in that. That's mind-boggling.
Two quality ass opponents, man.
You know, so
with all that being said,
what UCLA did is, you know, them going back to back undefeated is I mean, it has to be recognized. You know, so I'm going with UCLA.
all right. And unfortunately 3-2, they still lost. The Bulls move on to the next round. Next up, the 86-87 Lakers versus the 1980s Mets.
All right, I'm gonna go first with this one.
Go right ahead.
Because this Mets team is near and dear to my heart. My pops was a huge Mets fan, and it was insufferable in my house. Me being a Yankees fan.
Same.
You know, this team was a bunch of. Don't get me wrong. It was a hell of a team. You know, was it the greatest? It was the greatest. Was it the greatest 80s team? Mets team? Probably not. Probably gonna have to go with 85 team. It was a lot of drug addicts and party animals on this team. And I think the fact that they beat a lot of teams that they should not have beat to get the chip, to get the World Series ring, it is why they're here, because they should not have beaten the Astros. You know, when Nolan Ryan is probably your second, third best starter on that Astros team, they could not figure out Mike Scott at all. And then Bill Buckner, you know, with him just finally going back to Fenway Park, just a couple of years ago, and being just getting the respect that he deserves. And then you have the 86-87 Lakers, who had the chip on their shoulder, them losing to the Rockets buzzsaw, Twin Towers with Sampson and Olajuwon and Dream, and them having to deal with Celtics after that. So it's tough, man, but I think I'm going to go with the Mets. I'm going to go with the Mets because it was a lot of things. It was a lot of things that had to bounce right for that team to get that World Series ring.
Yeah, I agree because I'm rolling with the Mets on this one too. Just after looking up the rosters and shit like that, and these guys were legitimately unforgettable. I too was in the house of a Mets fan father, so it wasn't that it was unsufferable because I rooted for this team at this moment in time because first off, Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry, two brothers at the top of the game. At the top of the game at the time. Mookie Wilson, one of the better freaking, I think, leadoff hitters, switch hitter. Freaking Lenny Dykstra was a nut job that was just phenomenal. If you played the position of catcher, Gary Carter was somebody you looked up to.
Yes. And even though his better years were in Montreal.
Yeah, but we're talking about the Mets here. And then just some of these other names that were memorable from this pitching staff. Ron Darling, Sid Fernandez, Bob Ojeda, Jesse Orosco. This team was very hard to forget. And just the magic. Again, maybe you won't call New York bias. But I'm giving it up to the Mets on this one. The listener said I'm biased, so nah, but I'll give that vote up to the Lakers for him because he's a Lakers fan. So, so his bias has given the Lakers 1 vote so far, 2 for the Mets.
Again, same as y'all. I grew up. My house had Mets fever. I was a diehard Yankees fan. It was too far from where we lived in Brooklyn, up in the Bronx. Mets was 20 minutes away at Shea Stadium. Pops could get us the whole family tickets for under $100. You know what I mean? So, we was going to Shea and watching the Mets. But at that time, Darryl Strawberry and Dave Winfield Yankees were my 2 favorite players in the league, and Reggie Jackson. You know what I mean? So, but the thing is that Mets team was loaded. That Dan read off some of that roster. Just listen to some of these names they still had on there.
Yo, real quick, right? Real quick. Okay, shout out to whoever around my way is listening. I'm gonna tell this quick story. So Darryl Strawberry and Dwight Gooden went ahead and had a haircut. They got a haircut around my way at Julia's, right, which is right across the street from this Dominican store. So they were spotted at the Dominican store after getting a haircut. And from that day on, that store is called Mets.
The mess. The mess.
Like, I'm going to Mets. You know what I'm saying? Meet me at Mets. Everyone knows from that day on, they didn't change owners. Everyone knows that store as Mets.
That's New York shit, though. That's like we don't. You know what
I mean? So
I'm just saying that's New York shit, though. Like we don't call shit for what it is. Like I mean that could be a Latino thing too, though, because y'all know I'm married to a Puerto Rican. Shouts out to my wife as always. But paper towel, any paper towel, Bounty. You know what I'm saying? It's shit like that. Like it's one name for everything.
that's like black people in Pampers. I didn't know if I was a grown ass man. It's diapers.
It's diapers. Pampers is the brand.
What's this shit?
Right. Oh yeah, it's either Huggies or Pampers, not a diaper.
Not a diaper.
But no, like I was saying, is like, just check out. Dan, you ran on some of these names, but like, look at this roster: Mookie Wilson, Darryl Strawberry, Kevin Mitchell, Lee Mazzilli, Lenny Dykstra, Tim Tuffle, Rafael fucking Santana, Dave Magadan, Ray Knight, Howard Johnson, Keith Hernandez, Kevin Elster, Wally Backman. It's like shit. They had Kevin Elster.
These are all names that looked up to. Hojo, Howard Johnson.
Like, Hojo. It was stacked.
And the team was stacked. Jamal, real quick. My question is, how come they could not repeat? How come they couldn't come close to repeating?
You see the motherfuckers' names I just ran off? they had like 7 candy rights on that squad.
Let me get my straw real quick.
You was lucky if them dudes shut up to work, man. That's why.
In actuality, 1986 was the.
Yeah, the 88 team was even better than them. That 88 team. But what happened? They couldn't get right.
86 was the all right. Let's stop fucking around.
Bro,
let's show these people real quick.
And they had the potential. I still don't know if they were the best team that year. It might have been the Astros. It might have been the Red Sox, but the Mets found a way to win.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Bad News Bears, Major League Baseball that year. They were like,
TJ, you hit it on the head.
It was a mosh posh. They all could fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't want to start no shit with them. Your shit was gonna get. You was getting bum rushed.
You know
what I'm saying? Kevin Mitchell was a bully. You know what I'm saying? Darryl Strawberry from LA. He didn't take no shit. Keith Hernandez was known to clock a few people in the face every now and then. You know what I'm saying? Like, these were scrappers, man. And they just dug down. Like you said, Lenny Dykstra was crazy. He was insane. And he later found out what the truth was behind that. But
and they had Kevin Mitchell on the bench.
Yeah.
On the bench, that's how still they was. That being said, I'm going with the Lakers.
All right, TJ, you break this tie.
Well, like I said, they were like the Bad News Bears of baseball, but the Lakers were Showtime. That was it. Worthy, Magic, who's Kareem?
Kareem, Cap was still contributing.
Somebody trying to do a bell?
Yeah, like. Like I think AC Green was on that team. Like, that team was stacked, man.
Iron Scott. They still had
that team was stacked.
Mike Thompson, right?
They had
Scott, Mike Thompson.
I got you right here. It's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Adrian Branch, Frank Brikowski, Michael Cooper, AC Green. I wonder if he ever got his nut.
What?
Magic Johnson, Wes Matthews, Kurt Rambis, Byron Scott, Mike Smirk, Billy Thompson, Michael Thompson, and James Worthy. I think, but though baseball rosters are deeper, I think we've named more legendary names on the Mets than the Lakers. The Lakers have transcending names though, like they. But
like Michael Cooper was in there locking people up. You know what I'm saying? He was like a defensive specialist. Worthy was a bucket. You know what I'm saying? Magic was doing his thing. Like,
so the last year. That was the last year before they had to break out the wheelchairs for them players.
Yeah,
you said the Lakers.
Yeah, but they managed to put it together. Yeah, I had to go with the Lakers.
Boo.
I had to go with the Lakers.
No love from New York. It's all right. All right. In 1999, U.S. women's soccer team versus the 114-win New York Yankees. 114-48. First in the AL World Series champs. Swept the World Series. Only had 2 losses those whole playoffs versus the now known as Cleveland Guardians, but Cleveland Indians, formerly known as. We're going to talk about lineups. We mentioned the core 4, but Posada, Tito Martinez, Chuck Knobloch, Derek Jeter, Scott Brocious, Chad Curtis, Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill, Darryl Strawberry, Tim Raines, Joe Girardi, Louis Soho, Chili Davis. This, I mean, and I didn't even get to the pitchers yet. El Duque.
Yeah, you didn't get to the pitching yet.
That was the reason.
El Duque, Andy Pettit, Hideki Arabu, David Cohn, David Wells, Jeff Nelson, Mike Stanton, Ramiro Mendoza. Come on. This
David Wells
No, so wait, so Roger Clemens wasn't there?
No, we had Wells. We got worse when we got Clemens. They should have kept fucking Wells.
Yeah.
It's my bad. I'm still passionate about that bullshit.
Fuck that. I like the Rocket as a Yankee, but my vote goes to the Yankees. It's on you, TJ.
All right, I'm gonna go real quick.
I mean, much love to what the women's team did, but
yeah, the women's team, you know, for impact and everything, they definitely grabbed a generation and women empowerment and girls around the world. They love that shit. I mean, and more power to them. It was great what they did for the sport. They boosted the sport in ways nobody could ever do, especially here in America. Props, shout outs to them all day, every day. But I'm a diehard Yankee fan, so there's gonna be some bias here. So I'm not even gonna hide it. They were 61-20 at the All-Star break. 61-20. 82 games, 80-something games, and they won more than half of them by the time the All-Star break was here. That's insane. That's insane. And when they won the World Series, they were the first team to win it. They went 125-44 or something ridiculous like that, all time. One of the winningest teams of all time. You can't beat that type of domination. Mariano was closing. I mean, you knew the game was over when that man stepped on the field. It was a wrap. It was a wrap. Other teams knew it. Other teams knew they had to have a lead after the 6th or 7th inning, or the game was over. That's how dominant that squad was. You got to go with the Yankees on this. I'm sorry.
Right, to me, this is the toughest bracket on it because that women's team was beyond dominant. You know, what breaks the tie for me is that Chinese squad was just as good, and
yeah,
in what was probably the second greatest World Cup final I've watched outside of the one I just saw this past motherfucking year. That women's final against China was 0-0, and that final was decided 5-4 in penalties. It was crazy. But you know, the Brazilian team and the Chinese team were just nearly as good as ours. Nearly, not quite. There was nobody in baseball who could see the Yankees that year. Everybody was out there playing their heart out, and the Yankees looked like they was practicing. They looked like they was warming up. There was no stress. They was talking to each other from the batter's box and trying to figure out what they're going to do for dinner that night. And like you said, it was the pitching, man. We have 5 quality starters, but 4 starters who could have been aces on other teams, right? Then
number ones everywhere else.
Yeah. If your number one starter had a problem, he had to come out early. Don't forget we had Mendoza. Mendoza can come in and give you 5-6 innings and kick out. If you wasn't beating the Yankees, if you wasn't beating them by the 6th inning, you might as well just go home. You might as well just go home because the mid-relief closing was lethal. Was just lethal. We had a bunch of bats. They had clutch hitting. You know what I mean? So that Yankees team is one of the most. I put them up there with that 73 win Warriors team and that 95-96 Bulls team.
Let's go. I like that.
There was nobody who could see the Yankees in baseball at that time.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the women's national team for a little bit. The fact that they have like a pipeline, I don't know what it is. You know, the scouts. You know, we need to talk about the scouts. Like, where do they find these women? You know, to perennially just have women's soccer where it is right now. It's perennially one of the best in the world. You know, having said that, it kind of diminishes what the 98 team we're talking about, you know, because they're still great. They're still top 3 in the world, right?
Mhm.
This Yankees team that won the shitload of wins, that had a shitload of wins. We'll talk about the core four for a little bit. The reason why the core four was there was because 2-3 years before that, Steinbrenner was suspended from baseball.
That's right.
Right? So because he was suspended from baseball,
right. That's
there
right.
was no wheeling and dealing with our products.
No dumb
And
shit.
so our scouts, our front office kept these kids, and that's why we have the core four. Andy Pettit, Bernie Williams,
Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter, Posada,
Posada.
you know, and because of them, oh shit, did I forget Mariano Rivera? Did I say Mariano? Okay.
That makes 5. So, but keep
Okay,
going.
They usually don't consider
Bernie
Bernie.
Williams was not part of the core four. My fault. Bernie Williams came around at the same time, but so having said that, because the core four was there, that's what started the whole Yankees dynasty, and that's why we talk about Murderers Row. We talk about the 1997, 1927 Yankees team. They didn't make the list. This is why that 1927 Yankees team didn't make the list, because it wasn't just 4 or 5 home run hitters. No, you had home run hitters. You had guys that give you singles and doubles. You had guys that can move runners. And then you had that pitching staff, which was just out of this world.
So who makes your vote?
Yankees definitely make my vote.
All right, shut out. Nobody in the comments. Just shut out. All right. 73-9 Warriors versus the Dream Team. No long talking here, Dream Team. They didn't lose a game. They demolished everybody by at least 20 plus, I think. I wanted to look that up to see if I could find game by game, but yeah, this Dream Team, I love what the Warriors did. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Like looking at one of the scores here, they beat Puerto Rico 115-77 in one game. I'm looking up some other games because I'm trying to find the box scores. And anybody wants to talk, go ahead, because I don't need to long talk this one.
Listen, this was like pros playing against college kids, and some of these dudes were grown ass adults on these other teams, and the talent wasn't there. The talent just wasn't there, bro.
No,
Yeah. If this after everybody talks, I'll say the box scores. I apologize.
They was playing other teams, other countries, who was just happy to be there. These dudes are just happy to running up and down the court with these guys, asking for autographs after the game was over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we all remember. We all remember what that was. Yeah, now Dream Team gets my vote with this one, hands down.
All right, so that's another clean sweep. But here's the box scores from 1992. The fucking absurdity. They beat Angola 116-48. Croatia 103. These are like college basketball scores. Croatia 103-70. Germany 111-68. Brazil 127-83. Spain 122-81. I said Puerto Rico already. Lithuania 127-76, and Croatia again 117-85. Every other team underneath them had at least 2 losses or more. Yeah, I'm sorry, Warriors. Again, it was great, but not great enough to have moved on. Jamal, your pick of Jamaican men's 4x1 team. Yeah, we could sit here and break them down individually, but as a team, dominant one race. We picked 1 year, an Olympic year. This Miami team for 1 season, undefeated. Again, the amount of freaking we're not even advancing their careers into how many Super Bowl rings are within this organization also. But just the amount of let me get back to their roster. 2001 Hurricanes roster. Since we was mentioning player names, we ain't got to worry about the quarterback Ken Dorsey because he was great for his time. But Clinton Portis, Najee Davenport, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore, 4 fucking run. There was 5 running. All of them.
That's ridiculous.
They have Frank Gore on the bench.
Andre Johnson, Frank Gore, and Willis McGahee were freshmen at the time.
I was about to say McGahee too.
Andre Johnson, Jeremy Shockey, Kellen Winslow, and I'm not. Yeah, word. But the defense was just Jerome McDougal, Brian McKinney, William Josephs, Matt Walters, Andrew Williams, Vince Wilfork, Chris Campbell, Jonathan Vilma, DJ Williams, Pat Buchanan, James Lewis, Ed, the greatest safety ever, in my opinion, Ed Reed, Mike Ruff, Marquise Fitzgerald, Antrell Roll, James Scott.
Sean Taylor was on that squad too?
Sean Taylor was on that team.
Sean Taylor.
He might have been redshirted.
Yeah.
Why is his name not on this list anywhere?
He might have came the year after.
Okay.
His name is not here, but rest in peace to Sean Taylor, one of my top favorite safeties of all time, for sure. But no, Sean Taylor was not on this team. I know he was on the team that got screwed by Ohio State. I know that.
Yeah, that shit still
to this day. But bottom up, it's on you.
That Jamaican 4x4 team had 2 anchors, which made them a special team. And USA didn't have anything for it. However, that 2001 Miami Hurricanes team, you could put them in the NFL and they'll make the playoffs. So my pick is definitely with 01 Hurricanes. You have a couple of players on there who are in the top 10 in their position. Shout out to Mount McKinney, Frank Gore, Ed Reed, and Ken Dorsey is an afterthought, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Is Frank Gore still playing? Is Frank Gore still playing? Or did he just retire?
I thought he was doing MMA.
Yeah. Frank Gore's been done for a couple seasons now. But Jamal, it's on you. But this right. Usain Bolt, Johan Blake, Michael Frater, and Nestor Carter, like they had some monsters on that.
That's what I was going to say. This is closer than you think, because as we read off those names on Miami. In that track and field world, those names, those are some heavy hitters. Them dudes ran the fastest time humans have ever run collectively. And that record still stands at 36 seconds. Yeah. 36.84 seconds. Has not been touched since. Right? That was peak Usain Bolt, when he was still running like he cared. Because, them last few medals, you saw Bolt, we letting up 20 yards before the line. He's just like, it ain't worth pulling no hamstring. I got these dudes beat. I'm good. So that was my thing is, that 4x100 team was, them dudes was just laughing and smiling and joking before the race because they knew it was up. You know what I mean? But that was the fastest bunch of humans ever assembled.
Bolt just got robbed. Bolt just got robbed of all his money, so he might turn around and come back.
Yeah, he may have to run again. He got caught in a scam. So,
where's your vote?
I'm biased because Miami Hurricanes is my favorite college team, and that squad is possibly the greatest college football team that ever graced the field. The weakest spot on that motherfucking team was the quarterback,
and he wasn't weak at that time.
No. He got awards.
Yeah,
I mean, when you throw in the Andre Johnson, you're not going to be weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude was getting open by miles.
He was throwing to, the running backs he was throwing to. It's like they were so deep. They were 3 levels deep, every position. They could beat you with multiple lineups. It just, it wasn't even worth it. It's Miami.
And again, like I said, we're looking at that team for what it is. But if we counted Super Bowl rings, like Vince Wilfork has a handful by himself. Ed Reed, I think, has 2. You know what I'm saying? Freaking
Shockey has one.
Yeah, Shockey.
Roll got one
Shockey
with the Giants.
Oh, yep. Shockey's though. Jeremy Shockey's was in the owner's box though, because he wasn't playing.
Yeah, he wasn't playing. He was hurt.
You know what? He got one.
He still got one.
No, he was hurt.
Oh yeah, he was with the Saints.
Yeah,
Wasn't he hurt then too?
So he got 2.
No, he played. He played in that one. And then William Joseph got one, right?
Shit.
You know what? We're not counting that because we're making this go longer than it needs to. TJ, your vote.
I mean, this was just a no knock against the Jamaican relay team. This was just a bad matchup for them in this tournament. They were definitely dominant, but like you said, and everybody else said here already, the 01 Hurricanes team, hands down, one of the, probably like Jamal said, one of the greatest college teams ever to step foot on the field.
Right. But next up, I hate that I have to do this, but this is where I'm just giving my bias. I'm going UConn because it used to be F Tennessee back then. So call me biased or whatever, but that 98 Tennessee Vols women's roster. Let me see if it gives the women's women's basketball roster. It was absurd. These women were ridiculous. And who did they have on the scene? Oh no, well, they had Tamika Catchings, legend, but it was all about Shamika Holslaw.
That's it.
Shout out to New York.
Yeah.
Who undeniable fucking I wasn't a Tennessee fan because of UConn, but there's nothing bad you could say about that woman. Nothing bad you could say about that woman. But the 2016 UConn women's basketball roster, you had Brianna Stewart, who, if anything, was better than her. Kia Nurse, Gabby Williams, Natalie Butler. Like, Brianna Stewart is once again, if there's
Sue Bird wasn't on that team.
Not 2016.
Yeah,
not 2016.
She's ready in the league.
Now, the earlier Husky teams had a lot more of the quote unquote legendary names that we know now, but level of dominance, both of these teams went undefeated. I think with the women, the Husky team, it was how they were beating the shit out of everybody compared to the Tennessee team.
Yes.
Like they were beating the shit out of anybody. Plus, I believe they also continued that run for Gino of like 500 plus wins in a row or something like that, or 300 plus wins in a row. So it's on because we're going now. It's bottom up, right? So yeah, Lady Huskies for me. Biased all day. I don't care about what y'all say. I'm going biased.
I'm going with the Lady Huskies too. Even though Shamika Holdsclaw, man, that she was probably one of the first players that had me watching women's basketball or had me paying attention to women's basketball. I'm still gonna have to go with UConn because Gino Auriemma, like he's a legend. He can run for governor right now if he wanted to.
Probably could.
So that's my pick.
If he did that, as long as he didn't turn into a Glenn Jacobs, like we loved you as Kane, but you suck as a politician. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's Lady Huskies, and Nikisha Sales is what got me into women's basketball still to this day. I haven't seen what she looked like now, but I'm just saying. Jamal.
I'm going with Tennessee on this one. I think that Tennessee squad was 39-0. That was the third of 3 straight national championships. That was the architect. I think Gino Auriemma built UConn. He was the evolution of how Tennessee played basketball and built that UConn squad. But 39-0. The thing is that Tennessee team ravaged the top 10. They had a tough schedule that season. they ravaged the top 10 and was playing good squads all the way through. And I think their toughest game might have been like North Carolina or something like that in the tournament. Other than that, it was just that was a little dominance. That was a different level of dominance. Not to take anything away from the Connecticut team. It's like it's 1A and 1A. So I think it's going to be personal bias is going to dictate this one because that's a tough one.
TJ?
Yeah, I think Candace Parker had passed the torch to Shamika Holdsclaw in Tennessee.
No.
She
Candace Parker was
and
way after
no?
Tennessee. Candace Parker was early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Way after Shamika. Yeah, Shamika Holdsclaw
yeah.
passed the torch up.
Torch to her. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
And unfortunately, Shamika didn't even she didn't pan out that great in the WNBA. Like she didn't have that long ass career that we all expected.
Right. Like Jamal said, that team was dominant, but I wasn't watching women's sports like that. Not until like the late '90s, early 2000s, and UConn was on this ridiculous dominant run. They were just a freight train. They were just steamrolling everybody. I gotta go with UConn on this one. It's tough. It's tough. I can't deny what Tennessee did, but the like Dan was saying, the way UConn was just running through the entire country with that squad is just undeniable to me.
Yeah.
Apologies for the connection issues that we're having tonight. So, we got a pirate radio kind of night, but UConn women Huskies it is. The 1990 UNLV basketball team versus the 1980s USA. Do you believe in miracles? Unfortunately, though we wax poetic about UNLV in the beginning, this USA hockey team literally galvanized an entire country behind it. Excuse me, y'all. Don't ask me what the players' names were. Don't ask me who was on that team. This was of the era too when professionals weren't on these you could say minor league sports. So there was possibly future NHL players on the team, but they were all college athletes on the team. But they were all college athletes at the time. They were no pros. Because you got to remember, when we even think Dream Team, the 92 Dream Team was the first time that American professional athletes was allowed to compete in the U.S. Olympics when it came to basketball. But if there's hockey, there's still to this day, there's been movies done about it. They still write about this team. Everybody still talks about this team as far as just one of the greatest moments in just American sports history. UNLV captured a certain group of us, didn't capture the world like the USA team did. So I got to go USA hockey.
Okay,
TJ,
so I'm sorry. Can I go?
Yeah,
top down. Okay, all right. So go ahead, TJ.
All right. I'm old enough to say I did watch that hockey match. Do you believe in miracles? Al Michaels. Yeah. I was like 7 years old, but I do remember watching that because it was that iconic. Like people were like glued to the TV at the time. It wasn't much. TV ain't what it was back in 1980 as it is today. So that you didn't have all these channels and all these sports to watch. So when you watch the Olympics, everybody gathered around and watch the Olympics. So, because that team wasn't dominant like these other teams we're talking about in his groups are. Like, they barely gave the United States a chance in this tournament, and for us to really gut it out against like these, like I said, we were playing against grown men. Other countries were playing against grown men, and for us to come out and win that game, like Dan said, it was big for the entire country. It was big for the entire country. But that UNLV team, they put fear. I've never seen fear like that. There were teams they were just scared of them. They were just, you could see it. Larry Johnson always had a smile. He played with a gold tooth in his mouth the entire college season. Like, this dude was a menace. Stacey Augmon, Greg Anthony, Hunt. That team was just special, and they would just bludgeon you to death on the boards and out on the breaks. He had that team running like a well-oiled machine. They were just dominant, straight dominant. This is tough for me.
So 35-5 is dominance, but yeah, college game, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for college, it was dominant. At that time, there was a lot of good teams. There was a lot of good college teams back then. I mean,
if I give
if
it
we're
up
just
to
talking about overall, yeah, go ahead.
No, it's on you. I was just gonna say, we niggas, so we relate more to UNLV.
I mean, because they both had equal amount. I mean, they both had impact. They both had like serious impact when they played. You know what I'm saying? Like, they came out with the all black sneakers on and shit like that. It was just, it was them. You know what? I got to go to Team USA. I'm going to give it to the hockey team for that one. I hate to do it, but it was just a bigger game. It was a bigger event. It was on a world stage, and everybody saw that shit. So yeah, I'm giving it to Team USA.
Jamal,
I'm gonna go with UNLV. As great as that U.S. hockey team win was, it was not the dominant force. It was the Russians, man. The Russians hadn't lost an Olympic hockey playoff game since 1968. You know what I mean? Before that, they were the favorites to win the gold. The Czechs were favored to be silver medal, and the U.S. came out and showed out. Don't get me wrong, but there was that Russian team went like 3-1 against the NHL in exhibition, and then they beat the NHL All-Star team. They beat them twice in exhibitions. That Red Army team. So they was just crazy. The win. That's why it's called the Miracle on Ice for a reason, because that was absolute miracle.
Yeah,
but that UNLV team did not get beat. Duke did not beat them. They beat themselves because the hubris beat them. That team was like men amongst boys, and they were just dominant. They were the only team that could beat them was themselves, and that's what ended up happening. My humble opinion.
Oh, lead with your vote before your soliloquy.
Yes, I got to bring it. I got to bring it.
Go ahead, Professor.
That Miracle on Ice, I'm not too privy, as far as the team. I know that, none of the men on that team had a great professional career. It was one of those teams that shouldn't have won, but they did. They played the game they played the perfect game at the right time, and that's why they won. A la '86 Mets. However, this 1990 UNLV team, again, this was if there wasn't this team, there wouldn't have been no Fab Five. And when it comes to sports betting, a lot of people died in Vegas when Duke okay, let me not say it. A lot of people turned up missing in Vegas when Duke won, because that shouldn't have happened. We and people in our community, I'll say that us in the urban community, we were all UNLV fans. And that was the team that I loved growing up with Larry Johnson, Stacey Young, with Anderson Hunt, Greg Anthony. Shout out to Greg Anthony, New York Knicks. So that's my team. I'm going with UNLV.
All right. So we need another vote from the comments, but we will come back to that because we're 2-2.
Okay.
We gotta keep this rolling. But now this one's gonna be just as fucking tough. The 72 Dolphins versus the 85 Bears. I mean, let's look it up. Bears. It was they were known. We all know they were known because of their defense. But let me see. Oh no, ill. Let me go back to this. Excuse me, y'all. I was using the better reference sites. Here we go. But this is where I wasn't even alive for 72 Dolphins, but I'm aware of their lore. I'm aware of their history. I'm aware of all of it.
Yeah.
That's your team right there. TJ was the only one alive, man.
Oh,
right?
Fuck you, oh. Fuck you, fuck you.
Oh shit.
Cold-blooded shit.
Like, I don't know. So I can't speak to what kind of excitement, what kind of hysteria and stuff that the 72 Dolphins team brought along. But the Bears, though, 72, Miami Dolphins roster. I'm going to pull this roster up, too, to take a look at who we got. First and foremost, you're talking about, if we're breaking it down from Coach Don Shula all day, every day. Record. This is why I'm just going to put my vote. I'm picking the Miami Dolphins. They won it all. Though they went 14-0 in the regular season, but they won the Super Bowl. Still to this date, the only team to go completely undefeated in the NFL. And we all know how difficult the NFL is. But Mercury Morris, Larry Zonka, Paul Warfield. I'm looking at most of the Hall of Fame talent. No, Pro Bowl team of the year. Larry Little, Norm Evans, Bill Stanfield, Dick Anderson, Nick Bonaconte, one of the legendary linebacker. But now when we get to names, though, like the Chicago Bears is just littered with fucking, Jim McMahon, who was whatever. Jim McMahon is that argument case of
Ken Dorsey.
Okay, you want to. All right, this is why you don't bring Super Bowls into the conversation. You get what I'm saying? Because
he was along for the ride.
You are not. No, he did his thing, but
Okay.
you're not taking Jim McMahon over Dan Marino just because Jim McMahon got a Super Bowl. You understand what I'm saying? Like, but I mean, Walter Payton, Willie Gault, freaking this is just offense side. Oh, they had a Keith Van Horn too, right tackle. Dan Hampton, Steve Mongo McMichaels, The Fridge, Richard Dent, Otis Wilson, Mike Singletary, Wilbert Marshall, Mike Richardson, Leslie Frazier, Dave Duerson, Gary Finnick. You know what?
I hated them. I hated that team. I hated that team.
I'm keeping my vote, though I think that defense could beat up that 72 Dolphins team. But that 72 Dolphins team, again, still to this day, Mercury Morris can pop a bottle of champagne as one of the few living members of that team still left around. So I'm giving it up to the Dolphins.
They have Larry Zonka on that team too?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
TJ. No, yeah. It's on you, T. Oh, it's on.
It's on. Okay, so again, the question is, what was the level of competition? The 72 Dolphins. We don't know. Maybe one of our listeners.
They had the Steelers.
Yeah, Steelers. Raiders.
They had the Steelers. You had The Vikings was still
The
a
Vikings
dominant
were
team
still a
back
team,
then. Like there was good
right? But
teams.
who do they play?
Dallas had a good
I know they
squad.
were out there, but just because the teams were good doesn't mean they played them. You know that
That's subjective.
right. That 85 Bears, you
Dude,
know, that 85 Bears, like these all of those guys that were named in the Hall of Fame. You know, they beat my Giants. They beat the 49ers that year. And McMahon, I don't want to call him overrated, but again, If I had a choice between him, Marino, Montana, I'm picking those guys. So I'm gonna have to go with the Bears.
So you said the Bears?
The Bears, yeah.
The Bears.
The Bears.
Even though they're overrated to me, but still, you got to give it to what it is.
But they had the most iconic, still to this day, Super Bowl song, Jamal. So if there was a reason to give it up to them, there was another reason. But
Mm-hmm.
That 72 Dolphins team played some squads. They had some squads to contend with. The Steelers, the beginning of that steel curtain was forming. They were tough in the division that year. The Raiders, that nasty ass Raiders teams. The Redskins, who were nasty that year. The Cowboys, Packers. They played some. There's some tough teams out there. So I'm not worried about their level of competition. I think it was relative comparatively between the two teams. I'm still going to go with the Bears. You know why? Because the Bears went 15-1, and even though the Dolphins poetically stopped them from going 16-0, they did.
Okay.
Did the Bears get to 15-0 before they lost? No, they lost before then, so they got to 14 wins. That undefeated season was great for the Dolphins, but teams have passed that now. Have gone 14-0 or 15-0.
I see what you're saying. I see it.
So, I'm gonna go with the Bears.
TJ,
this is tough again, like you guys were saying. I was just thinking about like the rules and how the game was played in 72 versus how it was played in 85. And they were damn near still clotheslining people back in 72. And prior to what O said, I was still a twinkle in my father's eye in 72. I might have been in a womb at that time. I don't know. It was towards the end of the year. I was born in May of 73. So I might have been in the womb at that time, but I definitely didn't see that shit. So, like Dan said, undefeated in an NFL season, whether you won 14 games, 17 games, and other teams have done that, to go undefeated throughout the regular season and the playoffs and win the Super Bowl, that is tough. For a team to do that now, that level of dominance on both sides of the ball, I don't know if we're ever going to see that. I don't know if we're ever going to see that. And there's the talent now is so. I wouldn't say it's the parity in football is catching up. You can see that. Because everybody's got a guy who can run 4.3. Everybody's got a nasty D end. Everybody has a decent running back. It's tough. It is really tough out here to do. And that's the only reason I'm going to give it up to Miami, because no matter what year or what era, to go undefeated in the regular season throughout the entire playoffs and then to win the Super Bowl on top of that, it's just tough. It's just tough.
and Tyrone
And
put
that
the
Bears
vote.
defense.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I thought you were done, and I apologize. But I was just gonna
Yeah.
add on
Go ahead. I'm good.
that Tyrone added on, when you do something that has never been done in history. Also considering the difficulty of it, I'm going 72 Dolphins. So he gave it
fair argument.
There you go.
he gave it the third vote. But Tyrone, we need your vote here. It's 2-2. Hockey versus basketball. If you could give a comment. He also said in the comments, McMahon is Eli Manning to me. Eli might be better. There's no might be. He is better.
Yo, stop it, man.
Wow.
Stop it, man.
That's more blasphemous than that damn Voltron comment. That's more blasphemous.
Yo, bro.
Come on now. Don't let me whoop out the Eli Manning.
Yo, he really trying to make me. He really trying to make me flip a table up in here, man. Come on, bro.
Yo, since when was one?
Come
was
on,
one
man.
More than two?
That's not even.
Since when was one more than two?
Hey, man.
So what we're gonna do for this one, because nobody in the comments is giving it up for this. So heads is the team on top. Heads is UNLV basketball. Tails is USA hockey. All right.
Woo! Woo!
As they say, everything is good. Everything's good. And you see me picking it up. No flip over. Tails it is. So who did I just say Tails was? I just fucking blanked out.
UNLV.
So UNLV moves on. Are you bullshitting me? No. I
I'm
said
bullshit.
heads is UNLV. I really drew a blank, so fuck you.
Run the tape back. Run the tape back. Run the tape back.
Oh shit.
We are not of advanced technology. We don't have a production team. I am the whole studio production right now.
That was a weighted quarter he used, bro.
Not at all. No, he said that was a slug. That was a slug for the arcade machine that had a hole in it. I pulled the string to get it back out. But anyway.
Oh man, this is tough, boy. I was about to sit back and see what y'all
not
should be
able. I think we should stop for the bottom up.
No, yeah, we're gonna go bottom up now. TJ was the last time. No, so we're going top down, but we're gonna start from the bottom up. We should be able to get through these now a little bit easier because we broke down everything, the lore and all that good shit. This is where the 72 Dolphins move on once again for me, because everything that Jamal said about the USA hockey team. Meanwhile, the Miami Dolphins displayed a level of dominance that, yeah, we can say that the Patriots did it going through an entire regular season undefeated. But they went through the entire season to the Super Bowl undefeated. USA hockey, you said it. Everybody else was better than them. Right place, right time. Though it was a moment that grabbed the country.
One shot a moment.
What's your vote? Oh,
Dolphins.
Jamal.
Dolphins.
Do you believe in miracles? No, I do not. I'm going with the Dolphins, man.
Fuck your Make-A-Wish. Next up, I hate that I'm doing this. This is literally like asking me which one of my I was gonna say this is like making me pick one of my children, which is better. Nope, this is pure bullshit.
Canes. Canes all day.
I love women, but Hurricanes it is.
I love women too. Haven't said that. Canes.
TJ.
I gotta go with the masses here and go with the Canes on this one.
And for GP Jamal.
Yeah, man, it's Canes.
I love y'all, Connecticut women. I'm sorry. I apologize from the bottom of my heart on that one. Yikes. Whew, we got
these are the tough two brackets right here. These are two brackets are like, God damn.
Calm down. Side note, when I first scrambled, I hit the rearrange 3 times. This was almost a first round matchup, the Battle of Miami. But
no.
98 Yankees versus the 92 Dream Team.
Oh, no.
You know what? I love my Yankees.
Yo.
The
I love my
Yankees.
Yankees.
Yo,
I love my Yankees, right?
Oh no, that should have been the final battle.
Here's my deciding factor out of this one. And I already clicked why Dream Team, right? Though this is hard to go against the Yankees. Patrick Ewing is an Olympic gold medalist. That's why the Dream Team is getting my vote.
I could go with that. This is
wow,
terrible.
that's just it. Patrick Ewing's getting medal.
Not because of Christian Leitner. And actually, and
This
the
is
list
crazy
came,
because they both.
Tyrone came through late, so the coin flip, whatever, it helped. They got washed
This-
anyway.
Listen,
is tough, man.
There's 162 games in a baseball season. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
And we won like what was it, 114 that year?
yeah.
Regular
Total,
season.
yeah. 114
Yankees
in the regular
get out there.
season, 125 overall.
And they damn near went 4-4-4 in the postseason.
Here,
You know what I'm
here's
saying?
why the Yankees get. Here's why the Yankees get my pick, in my opinion, because when you heard the Sandman play and you saw Mario Rivera trotting from the bullpen to the pitcher's mound, the game was over.
Yes.
The game was over. Period.
Facts.
Period. End of story. It's a wrap. I got to go with the 98 Yankees on that. I mean, he struck fear in more hearts than anybody. When you saw that dude come out, it was like, Jesus Christ, can somebody get a base hit? Can somebody bunt single or something and shit? You know what I'm saying? Because
anything.
Even if he walked somebody, you was like, oh shit, we got a chance. No, you don't have no chance. There was no chance.
And he hit me with a
You could
pitch,
have the
something.
bases loaded with no outs, and you would have still lost. You would have still lost. Mariano was that dominant, man. It goes without saying, man.
Jamal.
Hate to pick against my Yankees, man, but I think the Dream Team is the most lopsided display of sports dominance. A sports dominance in recorded.
That's why I couldn't pick them.
Like, I mean, good God. I mean, they beat a team 116-48, which is absurd. It's just absurd, man. Like, if a game was decided by less than 35 points, that was considered a bad game. You know what I mean? I gotta go with the Dream Team.
Oh,
yeah. The Dream Team. The Dream Team was the cheat code of Olympic basketball back then, and it wasn't fair. And teams did not gear up to play these teams because there were more fans than anything. Because of baseball, because of how long the season was, and then the postseason, and again, like TJ said, once they played Sandman, it was like the opposing team were dejected when they heard it. And fucking Mariano Rivera, like, once he got in the field, he was just a giant among boys. So I gotta go with the Yankees, man. I mean, and I know I'm that's me being a homer, but I gotta go with the Yankees.
No, that's okay. And the third vote, once again, Tyrone's claiming carry the nation, USA. Mine wasn't even. Well, he's mad late, but yeah, it's saying Hurricanes easy, but yeah, carry the nation. Giving it up to the USA Dream Team. Again, my vote was biased to Patrick Ewing having some type of title outside of the college national championships. But 72-10 Bulls, Showtime Lakers. Oh,
Showtime Lakers all day. Better team.
Jamal.
I'm going with the GOAT, Magic, and I'm going with the Lakers.
TJ.
Ooh. I'm going. You know what? I never liked Chicago, so I'm going with the Lakers. Fuck them.
Clean sweep. anything to pick against the Bulls is for me.
Bias ass
all day.
No, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, if there was something more valid to pick the Bulls for, I would do that. But it was hard for them. Like, come on.
Now that Lakers roster is nasty.
Undefeated, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
a great Lakers roster. They went against the undefeated, 2-year undefeated college basketball team in this tournament. Like it was kind of hard to pick them. I mean, yeah, 72-10. I call again. I am not the Michael Jordan rider. No. He said, "Yo, the dream team for me, but damn, not because of sweaty ass Ewing though."
Disrespect, boy.
Knicks fan, shut up. I had to do that. But now back to top. Showtime versus the real Showtime of the Dream Team. Sorry, Lakers Dream Team it is. TJ?
Yeah, the Dream Team is washing this Lakers squad. For me, hands down.
Jamal?
Not even close, man. Same sport, man. You gotta go with the Dream Team.
Oh?
Yeah, Dream Team. Dream Team it is.
Them Canes versus the 72 Dolphins, both undefeated. One NFL team.
I told y'all the Canes was going to the finals. Didn't I say that?
Didn't I
say that?
Well, I'm counting.
Wrong this man.
I'm counting.
Fuck them Dolphins.
Calm down. I'm counting that as your vote, so we don't have to go further. That's my vote too. This was my team that I picked going to the finals. Also, this team could have played an NFL team in that 2000s era and possibly made a playoff run with the quality of talent that they had and the quality of talent they had on their bench. I personally think they wouldn't have went undefeated like they did in this college year, but they had the quality to play against NFL talent because that was a fucking NFL team before Alabama was fielding NFL teams. Straight up and down. Yeah. Jamal, how Canes it is.
Yeah, it's the Canes. At least Florida got something through, so they can't be that
bad. Right. Fuck white shoes DeSantis though. TJ?
This is tough. Undefeated, 17, 14-0 versus possibly the best college team of all time with that group of talent.
That was also undefeated.
Can we bring up that roster again? Because maybe he needs to see the roster again.
Which one? Miami's?
Miami, yeah, the Hurricanes roster.
Ken Dorsey. I'll run it down. Ken Dorsey, Clinton Portis, Najee Davenport, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore, Jared Payton, Kyle Kubia, Kyle Kubia, Andre Johnson, Dow Jones.
Moose was on that team?
Sands.
Damn.
Who? Darryl Jones.
You said Moose Johnson.
No, that was wrong.
No. Okay.
Moose was in the 80s. I said I meant Darryl Jones. Excuse me. Jason Geathers, Jeremy Shockey, Enos Crafter, Robert Williams, Kellen Winslow, the killer, as he said, Killer Winslow. Jerome McDougal, Brian McKinney, Carlos Joseph, Brett Romberg, Todd Severs, Williams Joseph, Matt Walters, Andrew Williams, John Square, Vince Wilfork, Chris Campbell, Jonathan Vilma, DJ Williams. Here's the other NFL talent, Darrell McClover, Philip Buchanan, James Lewis, Ed Reed, Mike Rumpf, Antro Roll.
Yeah,
I said a lot of names.
Yeah.
But every name I mentioned was NFL talent.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go with the Canes, man. That's just, they were stacked. Stack.
Yo, I'll be honest with you. I'm waiting on the 30 for 30. I'm waiting on the 30 for 30 because something ain't right. Like, how the hell was you able to procure all this talent on that team?
You didn't
You
see
know,
the U. You didn't see the U 30 for 30s,
see, I missed it. I did see the U.
and they're
Honestly,
old. They're
yeah.
old. But the thing about the U is you got to remember Florida is one of those literally and figuratively hotbeds for football talent.
That's it. They had the in-state talent. There was enough in-state talent to supply 5
Ha-
schools.
yeah,
Yeah,
half of them dudes were from Florida. Yeah, half of them
yeah.
dudes were from Florida
Florida
already.
State,
So
Florida.
The
Just
SEC
from the
wouldn't be shit. If Florida could keep their kids in state for the other team, the rest of the SEC wouldn't be shit. Alabama wouldn't be shit. The rest of them schools would not be competitive. It's just now those kids are leaving
you're
Miami
right.
and all those Fort Myers and a lot of those spots and going elsewhere. But yeah, the level of the amount of depth of players that Florida can fucking produce is absurd.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And to think, when you think about, again, go back and watch the U, but when you think about just that concentrated area of Miami, Florida, from fucking Opelika to freaking Dade
Coral
County,
Gables.
like Coral Gables, they were concentrated in that tight ass space where all that talent came from. That's
Like you
why
said, a hotbed.
that's why they are my pick to win.
Them high school games must have been crazy, man.
Oh, bro.
Those high school
Oh,
games must have been crazy back in the day.
It is.
With all,
It is.
Really?
Bigger than Texas, yeah.
And TJ from the Pee Wee level.
Yes.
From the Pee Wee
Yeah, you're
Pee Wee
right.
level,
I didn't even
drug
think about
dealers
that.
out there gambling on freaking kid games.
That's crazy. Friday Night Lights is a real thing over there.
Yeah, it is in the South
that's-
because a
that's-
lot of
that's
southern
insane.
states also don't have pro sports too.
Mhm.
But that's a lot of that, all of everything. Yeah, Dream Team, amazing, had all the best NBA talent. Again, this college team that went undefeated, smacking everybody with NFL quality talent, I think could have done the same thing in the same world type of setting as the Dream Team did to other teams. I'm going with Miami. You call bias, call me whatever the fuck you want. Oh, it's on you. I'm going Hurricanes for the final.
I'm sorry. It's on me.
Yes, it's on you.
Okay, so the Dream Team did what they were supposed to do. If you remember, if everyone remembers in '88 when we lost, and that's when we decided to make all these changes or whatever the case is. They did what everyone thought they were going to do. Everyone knew that the NBA, their talent in the NBA and skill level was better than everyone in the world. We knew that, and the amount of competition was finite, meaning that it was only a couple of teams that we thought could give this team a run for their money. That Hurricanes team went 30-0? College football,
12-0.
12. Oh, I'm sorry, 12-0. So
Yeah,
college football.
You got to remember too, it was in the era of the bullcrap system, where you had to be finished at the number 1, number 2 in the AP, or you could be just the popular team that they thought would make the most money on TV and be number 3 and make the championship.
Notre Dame. Notre Dame.
Yeah, exactly. But they left it out of the voters' hands to where it was impossible to not put them in the national championship game.
But okay, so at that time in 01, who were the powerhouses? So Notre Dame was a powerhouse, Nebraska was a powerhouse, but freaking Miami, anyone else, they weren't really worried about anybody outside of Florida or outside of that region.
Here's their, and again, this is still old school Big East. You got to remember conference play a couple outside games, but They beat Penn State 33-7. They whooped on Rutgers 61-0, 43-21 against Pitt, 38-7 against Troy. Florida State, in-state rival, this historic rival, they whooped 49-27. Beat
My
West
God.
Virginia
Jesus.
45-3. They beat West Virginia 45-3, beat Temple 38-0, beat Boston College 18-7, whooped on, at the time, number 14 Syracuse 59-0, beat number 12 Washington 65-7, beat number 14 Virginia Tech 26-24. That was the closest game. And then beat Nebraska in the Rose Bowl for the national championship 37-14. Those scores are way more lopsided than what the Dream Team did against some European pros
Yeah.
and the one, maybe two other NBA players in the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put a bow on it.
Beat the brakes off of ranked talent.
This is Hurricanes all day. Canes,
You know what?
we can put the Canes in the NFL right now. We can put the Canes in the NFL right now, and they'll make the conference championships.
They had a level of dominance where it was hard for you to line up against them on a Saturday morning. Like, they were feared. If you didn't come with your A game, and your A game usually wasn't going to be enough to beat them, and it wasn't. That's how dominant they were. They're just pure. They were just annihilating people. You see those scores? They were annihilating teams. It wasn't even fun probably playing. He was like, you got to do another half of this? You know what I'm saying? Just getting the ass
kicked. With the R. Kelly. I'm sick of this shit, man.
Yo, TJ. To put things in perspective, the last Giants team to win the Super Bowl, that was the team that brought a NASCAR defense, right? So the NASCAR defense, no one remembers who the Giants had a linebacker. No one remembers who the Giants had at fucking secondary, right?
Just remember the front
It was
four.
just a line that was crazy at the time. These motherfuckers, had all pros in every line of defense, right? So
let me tell you how serious it was. Let me tell you how serious it was.
Say again?
It's so serious that I can see your whole face now. This is how serious it was, because you have come out of hiding to talk about these Canes, brother.
Yo, right. And I'm a Giants fan. So a wash nigga, scrub dude like Spagnuolo could come in and be like, yo, I'm gonna take this Canes defense and work with it. Like, yo, what are we talking about here?
You picked the
I knew when I picked the 0-1 Canes that they were gonna win this whole shit. I knew it. I didn't want to say it, but I knew it was gonna happen. So I'm gonna let you get picks, and then we're gonna talk about how again I picked the best team.
Tyrone adds on his pick. They had no competition at all. They almost cheated. Canes all the way. Jamal, TJ, just make your picks to cap this off. But the Hurricanes took it.
It's the Canes, but
it was the Canes, man. I mean, no, the Dream Team, when they came into town, it was like Michael Jackson was there or some shit like that. That's the amount of crowds they had around them when they were coming to play ball. So it was unfair before they even stepped on the court. But I mean, this Canes team, like, if you thought you had a chance or inkling of a chance, they snuffed that shit out right in the first 12 minutes of that quarter, and it was just like, nah, it's a dub. It's a dub for y'all. It's over. It's over. The Canes were just supremely dominant on all levels. On all levels, there was no weakness. Like you said, they were 3 and 4 deep, damn near every position of skill level, both sides of the ball. It was ridiculous.
And there you have it, certified.
What you gonna say, Jamal?
Certified by this gold stamp.
The Canes, much like the Dream Team, they were juggernaut too. Remember, they got robbed the year before. They ended up finishing number 2. They should have went to the championship.
Right.
They lost that game at Washington, and the polls put Florida State ahead of Miami for the national championship game, and Florida State got their ass whooped by Oklahoma. And
I mean,
Miami finished number 2.
take it easy.
Washington finished number 3. Florida State finished number 7. So bullshit.
Shout out to Florida State. That's my team. Shout out to Florida State.
Yikes.
All day.
No shouts out. No shouts
All
out.
day.
The only reason why Florida State gets a shout out for me is because of Ron Simmons, and that's it.
And
I
Deion
hated the Seminoles
Sanders.
back in the day. No, I hated
Charlie
the Seminoles back in the day. Oh,
Wow.
yeah, Charlie Ward. That's it. Charlie Ward, Ron Simmons.
Charlie
That's the
Ward.
only one.
Must be the
Charlie Ward and
money.
Ron Simmons. But there you have it. Let me mute his mic.
Man, you can't.
We used to do
Be up here and do
I had to mute him. We used to
You're
do
so
that.
racist. You're so
I-
racist.
I guess we all racist. 'Cause it was funny. I was just telling my daughter how we used to do that at track meets for our school and for her school, Curtis High School, because we were cool back in the day. But it's Curtis Warriors, and we were the Red Raiders in my day of Port Richmond. So they changed them to the Raiders because of racism. But we used to do that same chant, Big O, but not for Florida State. Yeah, we used to. But anyway, can we stop talking about everybody else and celebrate the Hurricanes? Another undefeated season, another undefeated streak for them, 4-0. You could give yourself props, but every single one of us put that team on our list.
Oh, come on, man. Come
Yeah.
on, man.
That was
I'm a
was
realist.
easy.
I'm a realist. Once we're done with the show, you can go give yourself a massage to make yourself feel better. But we all picked the Canes. We all picked the Canes. So you could go give the Big O some old time.
Yo, wait till next week. Wait till next week.
Woo,
That's all I'm
man,
gonna say.
you talk about some furniture movement. That's gonna be a rough one, bro.
Next week's gonna be some first.
Yo.
2 weeks.
Because
2 weeks. Yeah.
it's 2
We
weeks.
got 2
Okay.
weeks to do.
Yeah.
We're doing 64. We're not getting 64 done in one day.
Yeah,
That's 2 weeks.
I've been working on mine, man.
Say your prayers, eat your vitamins, exercise.
Eat the vitamins, eat the Wheaties.
Yo, I'm telling you right now, kiss your loved ones, tell your kids you love them and shit. It's gonna be a tussle in here. Don't open up the door until I come out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be a problem. It's
F-bombs
gonna be a problem
flying.
next week.
Word.
Yo, sorry.
Might have to put the full parentally. You know what? The parental advisory sticker is going to be next week's promo, and we wouldn't have had that if it wasn't for rap. Just a thought, but y'all know what to do. We're done
next week.
Big O, you know what to do.
All right, it's your boy. Yo, we had fun. Man, a lot of yo, no, we had fun. We had fun. Let me put it like that. We had fun, man. I enjoyed this. And as much as I enjoyed this, I can't wait till next week. I can't wait till the 2 coming weeks. We're gonna make sure y'all tune in. And we're gonna do it, man. We're gonna do this thing. All right? My boy Jamal.
So appreciate everybody following today. Mayor, TJ, Big O, always a pleasure chopping up with y'all. Everybody in the comments, Lisper, appreciate you coming in. Yes, stay tuned for the next couple weeks. It's gonna be a great show for all of us. Gonna be some fun stuff, some feelings hurt, but it's all out of love. Oh,
Word, TJ.
Yeah.
TJ.
Go ahead.
No, it's on you.
All right. This was fun. Oh, okay. This was fun. This was the table setter. All these joints was table setters for what's coming in the next 2 weeks. Buckle in. I can see you guys family. You know what I'm saying? Feelings will get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Things will be said. Don't take it personal. You know what I'm saying? Kiss your kids. Tell them you love them. Tune in because it's going to be a slaughter. It's going to be a slaughter out there
Yeah,
next
we
week
might
and the following week.
need the full 10 participants in the window on this one because this is gonna be rough. But
Facts.
shouts out
Facts.
to all
Listen,
of
opinions
y'all.
don't make it facts, gentlemen. That's all I'm saying. Opinions
Yep.
don't make it facts.
Yo, charge your phone, charge your tablet, because I know it's gonna be a lot of reference making. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a lot of, I need to go to the archives. Yes, do all of that. Do all of that, man.
Dig back into your memory banks because a lot of
Yes.
emotions are tied to your memories. Like this album that I think is on my list, which I'm giving O this name to close it out before, because today was Mr. All Dicks No Chicks. Then it was the team. I forgot what the other team I said it was, but also though my
Seriously,
man
what?
was
My team made it.
our team made holy shit. But
everybody's team made it. Yeah. Fucking
Big
participation trophy.
Big O's name is Blase Blase this week because why? Long-winded, and I don't need no respiratory to bless my story. You got nothing for me.
One of our listeners was like, "Yo, I did not know that."
Man, they just put a battery in his back now.
but real talk. How many people listen to that Blase Blase album past the song Danger? And the album was phenomenal. It's still an album that
was fire. Album was fire, but it don't stand up to the rest of the competition out there. Sorry.
We will see.
So boom. So okay. I was about to ask TJ if Blase Blase song was on your list, and you already said no, it's not on your list. So okay.
No, it's not it's not there.
No,
I know. I'm gonna take these 8 steps to perfection and company flow our way out of here. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.